This video will continue our experience with programming in C. We have already created a program that adds two numbers and gives us a sum. It is in fact a trivial program, but it's our opportunity to start building our experience base with this language and with working in the command line environment. So with that in mind, let's take a look at that command line environment. We are back to being logged into the Cephins, the NAU Cephins login system here. If we remember to look at ls to see what we're looking at, this lists what we have. We're going to change directory to examples. Take another ls and we'll find out that we have prog1. Now what we want to do is we want to develop a prog2 so that we can extend on it a little bit and do a little extra work. So I'm going to make another directory and I'm going to call it prog2. And now when I show that, I show both directories. We will go ahead and go into prog1. We can look in here. We've got our program that we have created here. We have our program in C, and right now we have it apparently opened right now, or this is a backup actually for the file. And so what I want to do is I want to copy this over to the program2 directory. So what I'll do is I'll do a cp, I'll do prog1c, and I'll do tilde. Notice what's in front of this guy right here. This is a tilde slash examples slash prog2. And we put a slash there if we want to. And with that in mind now, we'll punch that button. We don't see much happen here. But now if we come up out of prog1 and we go into prog2 and we do a list, then in fact we see our prog1c. All right? I'm going to use another command called reset because I want to put most of our work, or as much of our work as I can, at the top of the screen. So this takes us up to the top of the screen, and we will go ahead now. I want to list what we have here. So now what I want to do now is I want to rename this file, and that's done slightly differently here. It's going to be called move, and we'll do an mviv prog1c prog2c. It will move it from one to the other, and essentially it's just a way to rename it. And now when we list it, we have a prog2c. And we can now jump into our gedit and do our prog2c. Remember, we'll do an ampersand so that we'll still have access to the command line while we're working in gedit. This will open up the program. We can see a few of these warnings here. We'll see we're familiar with that. No big deal. We'll go ahead and bring our window into the screen here. And this is what we last had the last time we were working in here. What I want to do now is very simply add another function to this program. And what I want to do is I want to, instead of having this math done here, I want to make a function that's called add values. Okay? Now anytime I do a new function, I'll come up and I'll make a new, what I can do, I'm going to copy this guy right here and cheat a little bit. And this was called add values. It, in fact, accepts two integer values as parameters, returns a double sum. The precondition is two values are integers. Postcondition is that we will return double sum as specified. No exceptions on this, and we can make a note here, demonstrate creation of supporting function. Now once we've done this, we can create a stub function, and this stub function will be double add values. We'll take one value another value, create our function structure. And the one thing we need to do here is we need to put a return in here, but let's do this a little differently here. Let's go ahead and compile it without this. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to go to my command line here. I'm going to reset back to the top. Let's go ahead and do our command line operation, gcc -wall -std equals C99 -pedantic. This is going to roll around to the next screen, and that's okay. And we have our prog2c. We're going to turn that into a program, and we'll just call it addprog2. So we punch that in here. Now a note, control in the function addValues, control reaches end of non-void function. That's exactly what we had happen here. We put this in here. We need to put something in here to make the compiler happy. So we're going to put this in as a temporary stub return. This is a very simple process here, but later on this is going to be very important for purposes of developing large-scale programs. I'm going to save this. I'm going to go back. I'm going to pull up our program command here, and we have sum is used uninitialized in this function, and that's in the function main. We can handle that. Sum is not used because we're not showing it here, and that's actually very good, because that will help you when you're writing programs. You find something, it's uninitialized, unused. We could initialize it. In fact, let's do that. We'll set sum to 0. And once we do that, then we have a happy compiler. But this program doesn't work right now because it'll have a title, it'll enter 2 values, but we don't have the processing part done here. So let's make that work. Now the processing part right here is really going to be very simple. I'm very simply going to return a double. This is how you cast in C. One val plus another val. I will save that, and I will bring up top of the screen, and we have a happy compiler, so we're good there. We'll come down here, and we will simply say sum is assigned addValues, and that's the name of our function, addValues, and we will add the augend and the addend. Save that, go back to reset, top of the screen, happy compiler. We can look at what's available here. We have addprog2, so let's run that guy. addprog_2, that's our program. We get our title, we enter the augend, we enter the addend, and then we get our sum. 65 and 15 is 80. So let's come back to our program here. What we did here was we developed a supporting function called addValues. We put that together here and made it do a very simple addition process, but it did involve casting. And then we brought it here. Now a point here in C, this is going to change later on because this is really not handy this way. We have better ways to do this, but in a simple C program, the supporting functions must be ahead of where they are used in the main function or in any other function. So we see that we put this function ahead of the main. What this would end up in a big program is that the main would be way at the bottom of a long program, and again we have better ways to do things than that. We did not change this part of the program significantly, but we did add a new function. We called that function, and then we found our answer and we're on our way. So we're going to wrap this up here, and we will go ahead and continue on in the next video after this one.